Hi fans, and welcome to this Week 6 edition of the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show. Last Friday night, Woodland Hills traveled to Mount Lebanon and put it to the Blue Devils 49-10. This Friday, Woodland Hills hosts Baldwin in a homecoming matchup. We're going to sit down with Woodland Hills head coach George Novak to talk about last week's victory over Mount Lebanon and preview this week's game against the Highlanders, and we'll also let you see highlights of last Friday's game. All of that and more on the pregame show right here on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
It'll be a QB keep to the near side on the option, and not much room there for Ward. Handoff will go to Sanders. He looks to bounce it to the far side. He's across the line of scrimmage, across the 35, bouncing it further outside. Now squeaks through. 45-50, 45-40, 35-30, 25-20, 15, 10, 5, end zone, touchdown, Miles Sanders, Houdini. Pitch will go to Rolfson to the left this time. Looks for the cutback, no room there. Randall looks to his right. Little slip screen to Art Tompkins. Tompkins looks for the cutback. Slips through blue jerseys. Spins his way forward to around the 50-yard line. And now Harry Randall will pull it down, and he'll be off to the races inside of the 35. Cuts it to the near side 30, still on his feet to the 25. And he'll be brought down at the 23-yard line. Pistol formation. And it'll be a counter for Miles Sanders into the end zone for his second touchdown of the evening. Shaw will take the handoff on the two-point conversion, and there was nobody that wanted to get in the way of Joel Shaw. Stout drops back, looks to his left. It's intercepted by Chris David. David to the far boundary inside of the 30, the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5, and into the end zone. Harry Randall pass complete to Dante Broadus. Broadus first down yardage and more as he's forced out of bounds along the far sideline. Randall off of play action, rolling to his right. Steps up into the pocket, looks to the near corner. Wide open is Dante Broadus. He'll bobble it, then catch it for the Woodland Hills touchdown. Handoff to Shaw. Shaw over left guard, powering his way inside of the 15. Randall off of play action. Pauses, throws, wide open across the middle. Art Tompkins for the Woodland Hills touchdown. To the 5-yard line where it'll be returned by Art Tompkins. Tompkins with a lead blocker and Harry Randall. Tompkins bounces to the far side across the 30, the 35, the 40, cutting it back inside of the 45, the 50, the 45, the 40, the 35, the 30, 25, 15, 10, 5. End zone touchdown. Art Tompkins takes it 95 yards. Straight drop back. He'll look to his right, feels pressure. He'll be hit. He'll be wrapped, and he'll be sacked by Deshaun Brown. Out off of play action, feels pressure. He'll be hit, bounce off of one Wolverine, stays on his feet, and he will be spun down. Randall, design keeper to the near side, steps through a hole. 45, 50, 45 on the cutback, and he will be brought down. Handoff, Sanders dancing his way forward inside of the 30, first down yardage and more. Shotgun formation. Sidecars to either side. It's Randall on the keeper, straight up the middle, into the end zone for a Woodland Hills touchdown. Cooper in the shotgun, hands off. Henderson on the cutback, bouncing it across the 25 to the 30-yard line and brought down at the 32-yard line. Woodland Hills improving their record to 3-2 on the season, 3-1 in the Southeastern Conference with today's 49-10 victory over the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils.
Hi again, fans, and again we thank you for joining us for this Week 6 edition of the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show. Adam Gusky here, sitting down with Woodland Hills head coach George Novak. And Coach Novak, before we talk about this week's game against Baldwin, let's take a look back to last Friday's game against Mount Lebanon. You came out like a house of fire and never let up.
Adam, we've had some great games with Mount Lebanon in the past 27 years. Starting from that first year in the semifinals all the way through WPL championship games, semifinal games, and they have some great players. The Bookser kid plays defensive line. He's a tremendous player, and the Apke kid's a big time player. And I was real pleased with the way our boys played against them, against 2 players that'll be playing at big-time colleges somewhere next year. So, yeah, we started off strong. Defense was strong. Miles Sanders, again, he made a fantastic run on the first play offensively, put us on the board, and we never looked back from there.
Coach, we could talk about Harry Randall and Miles Sanders ad nauseum, but let's talk about Art Tompkins. He had a big football game, a couple of nice runs, a couple of nice receptions, including a touchdown, plus a 95-yard kick return for a touchdown.
Art is an outstanding athlete. He's a junior. Sometimes he gets overlooked because of the other athletes, Harry and Miles. But Art, we kind of were using him on offense early in the season, and we decided let's get him solid on defense first, and we did. So the last 2 weeks we tried to get him back on the offensive side of the ball. He showed what he could do because he has a lot of speed also. In fact, in the 40 he might be able to beat Miles and Harry. So, and he's a junior, so it shows a lot for the future.
You mentioned the future, Coach, and obviously there's a lot of this season left, but let's talk about some of these young players. Sanders and Shaw in the backfield, they're both sophomores. You've got Tompkins, who's a junior. The defense is loaded with underclassmen. The line is loaded with underclassmen. So not only do you have a good team this year, but a lot for the future as well.
Yeah, it looks very promising. We thought this year would be a strong year, and the next 2 years after this will be strong. And it looks like the 9th grade team's pretty strong this year. So, we keep rolling. We got some great athletes, and they're working hard.
Coach, let's talk about the defense. A week ago, we said there's not one big star, but it seems like Chris David's starting to emerge his 2nd straight week with a defensive touchdown.
Chris is an outstanding athlete. He's coming down the stretch last year. He got injured in the Upper St. Clair game, and he rehabbed it, worked hard in the winter and spring and summer, and he's just getting back into himself. We're going to use him on offense now also. They're primarily defensive players, but he's also an outstanding receiver.
Coach, 2 weeks in a row you've had a defensive touchdown and a special teams touchdown. How important is that to your offensive game?
Once you score touchdowns on special teams or on defense, it helps the whole team out, the whole mood, just defensively and offensively, And Coach Whitehurst coaches the special teams. He puts a lot of effort into it. We practice it every day. We know how important the specials are, and I think that's a big part of our success because we work hard at it and we have good speed. Defensively, they're ball hawks. They're always going after the ball. So,
you talked about the special teams, about 20% of that special team still struggling the kick coverage game.
We were squibbing a kick last week. We wanted to keep it away from Apke because we knew he had potential. After we were up 28-0, Coach Waiter says, we'll give it a try, go deep. And, they executed it perfectly, and he has great speed. He's, of course, a Penn State recruit. He has great speed. He's 6'3", 190. He runs a sub 4.4, and he just accelerated. He beat us to the corner, and he was gone.
Coach, let's talk about the Baldwin Highlanders, a team that comes into the Wolverines pushing for a playoff spot.
Baldwin has a big team. Looking at last year's roster and this year's, a lot of guys are the same guys. There are a lot coming back. They have one of the bigger offensive tackles in the state. He's 6'8", 300 pounds. He's a big boy, and he was developing last year. He's getting better this year, and the rest of their offensive line, they got 2 or 3 300-pounders, a couple in the 270, 280 range. So, and they got some speed and athleticism, and they have various offenses they run. They spread you out in the empty, and they'll run the ball. They got a good running back, and defensively they've been very strong. They played with Upper St. Clair for a while, and too many mistakes, but they're a very competitive team, and we're looking for a tough ball game tomorrow.
It's homecoming here at the Wolverines this upcoming Friday night. Talk a little bit about the continuity of having former players who are always here and not just coming back for homecoming as coaches.
Oh yeah, the tradition that these guys have built, the guys that have played here, yourself included, is something we always preach about to our young men, and to keep that tradition going, and to come with the right attitude, positive attitude, work hard, dedication, commitment. And they know it's important. And every time we go to WPL Championship, at Thanksgiving morning we have practice. We have the alumni come down, and 2 weeks ago at the Plum game, Lusaka Polite came up for the game from Florida. That was just great to see him. And, you know, just always good to see the guys that are around here, the coaching staff. And, you know, everybody stays in contact with each other, and it's just a family feeling.
Coach, talk a little bit about that Thanksgiving Day practice. We didn't talk about it all last year, but with homecoming on our minds, that's something that's very special, and as an alumnus myself, I really thought was a great environment over the past few years when we've done it.
It was outstanding. You know, we had 60, 70 of our alumni over the years come back, and I'll ask a couple of them to say a few words to the guys about the tradition and when they play there and how important it is playing at Heinz Field, playing in the championship game, because the majority of our guys over the years have played in that championship game. So that's important, and just to stress the type of game it is and the importance of it and the tradition that Woodland Hills has.
Coach Novak, thanks a lot for your time. Good luck this week against the Highlanders, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks, Adam.
We'll be back right after this with more of the pregame show here on the Woodland Hills Football Network. Fans, we want to see you at the Wolverines this upcoming Friday night for the homecoming game against Baldwin. But if you can't make it to the Wolverines, you can tune in on our flagship radio station, AM 1550 WZUM, on the web at woodlandhillsfootballnetwork.com. We'll also have our live radio stream on the MSA Sports Network at msasports.net. We'll have television coverage on Monroeville Comcast Cable Channel 13, Penn Hills Comcast Cable Channel 98, and Verizon Fios Channel 37. And as always, we'll have video replays on all of our television affiliates and our YouTube channel. For everybody at the Woodland Hills Football Network, I'm Adam Gusky, and we'll see you next week. This has been a presentation of the Woodland Hills Football Network. Watch us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and as always, visit us at woodlandhillsfootballnetwork.com.